In this video I'm going to show you how to do a bit of photo retouching in Photoshop. What we'll be doing is taking this vintage photo of this baby. It's covered in marks and scratches and who knows what else, and what we're going to do is turn it into this, where it looks like it's almost a brand new photograph. Okay, so what you need to do is open up this picture in Photoshop. It will look something like this. Where you need to begin is with the crop tool. Press the letter C to get crop, or grab it from your toolbox and basically bring your edges in around the edge of the photo. You can chop off most of those ugly looking borders. Okay, once you've done that, just press enter or the tick up the top to apply those changes, and your photo will be already looking a lot better. Now the next step is simply getting rid of all these little marks around the outside of the page. We're not going to worry about the marks on her body for now. We're just going to worry about the background. So the way we get rid of those is very simple. You need to grab the spot healing brush or press the letter J. It's a little band-aid in your toolbox. I'm going to start by zooming in on the top right hand corner of this photo. Okay, and all you do with the spot healing brush is just click on dots and they will disappear. So any blemishes you see on this photo, click on it and Photoshop will look at the surrounding area and know what they have to do to fix it. So more often than not, Photoshop will get this right. You can use the right and left square brackets to make your brush bigger and smaller. When you get to lines like the one I'm doing now, you simply click and drag your mouse and that will get rid of those lines. And when you get to a big patch like this, make your brush nice and big and just stamp it on and it will get rid of it. And so as you can see, this corner in the photograph is looking great already. All the background seems to be consistent. There doesn't seem to be too many more blemishes. If I zoom out in just a moment, you'll get a glimpse of just how good that background is looking now. Okay, that looks really nice. Bit of a white line going down here that I might be able to get rid of if I just make my brush a bit bigger. Do that. There it goes. Okay, so your job now is to go around the entire background and get rid of any little spots and marks that you can see. I'll pause the video here while I go ahead and do that, and you can have some time to catch up and do that as well. Okay, I'm back again now, and as you can see, I've done a reasonable job of getting rid of all the marks in the background on this photo. So the only ones I've got to get rid of now are the ones on the little girl's body. If we zoom in on her body here, these little spots are easy to get rid of with the spot healing brush still. Okay, just make sure your brush is nice and small and you just click once on top of all these spots. They will start to disappear. Okay. What I do want to look at though is another way to get rid of some of these lines and spots. You don't just have to use the spot healing brush. While it does work pretty well, if we look at that, it does a good job of getting rid of that mark on her head. I do want to show you another way to get rid of them, and that's using the healing brush tool. What we do with the healing brush is we hover over a part of her hat over here. Just say we want to get rid of this mark here. We hover over part of the hat which we want this area to look like. And when we're hovered over that area, you hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and click. That's known as our target point. And when we move over to here, you can see that section where we just did an Alt click will now be moved over to that orange spot. Okay, and that takes that part of the hat and puts it on top of the other part where we just clicked. We might want to do the same over here. So we hold down Alt. So we want this part here. We just click, go down to the orange and start clicking around until it starts to look good. A little bit messy, but no one will notice that when we zoom out. Same over here. I think it's going to look good if I get this part just here. So hold down Alt and click on that. Come down to the orange mark and start clicking around till we get rid of it. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'll probably go back to the spot healing brush just to get rid of this line, so make my brush nice and small. Just run my spot healing brush through a hat over the top of that line. It does a pretty good job of covering that up. Okay, another way we can cover up spots is by using the clone tool. It's the clone stamp tool. You can press S to pick that up. And it works in the same way as the healing brush. You hold down Alt. So we want to get rid of these little spots in here. We hold down Alt, click, and move that target over to those little spots. As you click and drag, you can see a little cross up here, and that is where it's taking the original data from and placing it into our circle where the new data is going to go. It works well over here. So if I hover above this line and hold Alt, click on it, come down a little bit lower, and we'll just carefully go over that line. Now that mark on that line's gone away. Okay, I'll leave the rest of the photo up to you. I'm just going to pause the video again now while I finish this off. You can catch up and see if you can get a perfect looking photo. Okay, so I'm back for the last time now with a reasonably good looking touch-up job on this photo. The last thing we could do to this now is just to make it look a little bit better is go to some adjustments here. So go to your image menu, adjustments, maybe play around with the brightness and contrast a little bit. So if you want, you could make it a bit brighter. Turn that contrast right up. It's really going to make things in the photo stand out. It'll make the blacks blacker and the whites whiter. Okay, if we turn the preview on and off, you can see how it looked really faded before, and now when we preview it, it looks a lot less faded. I might even turn that brightness back to 0, just turn the contrast right up. That looks a lot better. So I'll click OK on that. If we go back to adjustments, I'm sure there's a few other things we could play around with. If we wanted to hide this orangey colour up in the corner here, we could go to hue and saturation. Just turn the saturation right off altogether, or even right down. That'll just suck the colour out of the photo. I might turn it down to about we'll go minus 50, about halfway down. And you can see it's taken out a lot of that red in the corner there, and it looks more like a grayscale photograph. If we turn preview on and off, I think it's just a personal opinion if you like it with that little bit of a sepia, that brownie coloured effect, or if you just want to go the full grayscale effect. Another thing you could do is possibly adjust the levels. You can make the blacks a bit blacker, the whites a bit whiter, play around with the mid-tones a bit. If we just bump that up a little bit with the lightness. You see, this is turning into a completely different picture now. I might just turn the brightness up a little bit more again. There we go. So from the original picture that we had, and I'll see if we've still got it, there it is, to what we've got now, you can see a massive, massive difference. It looks a lot nicer, almost looks brand new. When you're done, don't forget to pop up to the file menu, save for web, ensure you've got JPEG selected. You can go to high or very high for your quality, and save it. And we are done.